loves, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be breaking down the solar eclipse that is happening tomorrow in Scorpio. We have quite a lot to talk about, but before I get started, I have a couple of updates because I know we haven't gotten to do the weekly healing circle in a couple of weeks. And there is a reason for that. There's been some electronic issues in my block due to a blackout, due to the thunderstorms and everything that was happening. So this particular week they're coming through to fix the, I don't know what those poles are, but basically the electricity is getting fixed in my block because the light was going off. A lot of things was going wrong and I didn't feel comfortable going live just like on my phone. This is with the exception of tomorrow. I'm going to be using my hotspot to do the 2-hour workshop, the Empowering Your Crown rituals that's happening tomorrow. You can still get tickets for it. Tickets are going until tomorrow, so you can, buy tickets until then. But I wanted to do this update so you guys know kind of what's going on. I've been doing some other work, so you guys, you're getting a podcast episode this week. You got a podcast episode last week and the week before, and I'm working for the stuff for November as well because there's a lot of things happening. So I pushed the Akashic Records 5-hour intensive. So instead of it being on the 25th of this month because of the electronic issues, I am rescheduling it to the 10th of November, and then for the one for November got rescheduled for December. And that will be in December 8th. So those are the two reschedulings. I'm going to make an email. Like if you're on my newsletter, you would get the email blast for it. If you're not, then you're getting the message here. But I had to change it because there's been some electronic stuff happening. Who was surprised with Mars and Gemini? Who was surprised? But yeah, so that had to get fixed. Once that gets fixed on my block, I'll feel a lot more comfortable with, live streaming. Right now is not necessarily something I feel comfortable with, because I don't know if you guys remember, like the other, there was, I think, 1 or 2 lives where the light completely went off and the Wi-Fi went off. It was like crazy, and I just wanted to get fixed. So I'm trying to give the people a window for that to get fixed. So I hope you guys understand, bear with me. I know it's not ideal, but it's not really much I can do but wait for it to get fixed because there was some water damage and stuff. So yeah, anyway, with that being said, also, this is the last week to use the code This Is Halloween for 50% off all of my services. It literally ends this week. So yeah, I'm excited about it. It's definitely it's been a lot of really amazing sessions that I've already had already. And I'm really excited for these sessions that are upcoming as well. So yeah, definitely make sure you check it out and check out all my services. There's going to be more updates on my website, and I am working on a shop update right now. The oils are coming back. I know I keep getting emails about when the oils are coming back. The oils are coming back. I am literally printing labels and getting everything sorted for things to be, getting ready to be shipped. There's gonna be freebies. There's gonna be like a lot of different things. I'm really excited. Just stay tuned for it. But yeah, make sure that you are signed up for my newsletter. My website will be down below. You can sign up for my newsletter on my website. With that being said, I think that's like all the updates that I have for you guys. So we're gonna get started with this solar eclipse in Scorpio. We need to talk about it. So there's a new moon and solar eclipse in Scorpio happening tomorrow on the 25th. It's definitely a lot going on. It's definitely, the energy is going to be definitely very intense. I pulled the tarot and the oracle cards, so we already know, the messages coming through. But yeah, there's quite a bit going on. So we're going to start with the planetary positions. We're going to move into the aspects, and then as always, we'll look at the tarot and everything. I'll give you guys a tiny bit of a spell guide. What I recommend is everybody take a spiritual bath. That's really, especially for a water solar eclipse, just take a spiritual bath. Don't do anything crazy. Solar eclipse energy is not necessarily the best time to be doing crazy ceremony and ritual work due to the intensity of the eclipse season. So do what you want, but I'm just letting you know. Planetary positions: the sun, moon, and Venus will all be in Scorpio. Mercury will be in Libra. Mars will be in Gemini. Jupiter will be in Aries in retrograde. Saturn will be in Aquarius. Uranus will be in Taurus in retrograde. Neptune will be in Pisces in retrograde. Pluto will be in Capricorn. Okay, so there's still some retrogrades going on. There's 3 left. Quite a bit going on. The energy is still like, we're still coming out of retrograde season. Is going to take up until the beginning of the year, until January, for, you know, most of the planets to be like, boop, we back type of energy. So, you know, take everything with like a grain of salt. Be gentle with yourself. When it comes to the major aspects, so the sun is in conjunction to the moon. We do have a stellium in Scorpio. There's a lot of water energy. There's a lot of death and transformative energy. One of the key factors that I want you guys to keep in mind, especially because Pluto is also in Capricorn right now, is that the earth element is underlining the water right now. So when I was like meditating on the cards and looking at the chart and just channeling the messages from spirit, the message was very clear. One of the abilities and one of the focuses that Scorpio also has is the focus on management. Okay, Scorpios make great business managers. They make great just managers, people who, because again, they rule manipulation, so they're very great at knowing who can be on what role and what needs to get done when, and deadlines. Okay, so Scorpio is a very tactical sign. It always has been, because it's also co-ruled by Mars, so it's very tactical because Mars is the war planet that requires you to have, you know, to be tactical. So it's the energy of control is coming up a lot. And the key words that came up was watering the seeds. So you could have been set intention for something, and one of the things that definitely mirroring into what's happening now is the intentions that we set at the beginning of the year. Y'all remember the whole entire like Venus and Capricorn? Yeah, remember, because we were talking about it at the beginning of the year. We were talking about intentions, we were talking about goals, we were talking about dreams, we were talking about vision. We've been talking about vision this whole entire year. You guys know this. But one of the main things that's happening right now is that all of the water that's in the chart, because there's a lot of water in the chart, it's like the message that's coming through is like, you need to water those intentions now. You need to actually, you know, supply them with that water in order to so they can start fertilizing and growing. Okay, literally fertility came out twice in the reading, y'all. Like I'm not even joking. This is the bottom of the deck, Empress, and then we have fertility and renewal. Like I can't make this up. That was literally the bottom of the deck. And the way that the cards came out, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about, as far as like the theme is very like, no, it's the time to water it. It's a time to connect to the womb space. It's a time to connect to the sacral space. Also because Scorpio also is connected to the sacral space. Okay, death and transformation is a great time to do some cleansing, some energy healing, some womb work. Great time to do a spiritual bath. A great time to do some release work. Great time to crying rituals. Get it. It's a great time to do that. We also have a sun in conjunction to Mercury, sun in conjunction to Venus as well. The energy is very supportive for a lot of emotional release, for a lot of emotional healing, for a lot of energetic healing. But it's very much like, okay, you're doing all of that emotional work, you're releasing, you're letting go, you're processing. How are you now making space for those intentions and goals and dreams that you have set for yourself? That is the key right there. The sun will also be in a trine with Mars. So we're feeling very in alignment. Like whatever we want to do, we're doing. Like it's very like, you know what? I said I was going to do this. I'm going to do it. Let's go. I'm making time for it. I'm doing this. Like we're very like this solar eclipse is very powerful, but Scorpio energy, even though it's a fixed sign, listen, it's a very transformative period. One of the things I say every Scorpio season, because I have to remind you guys always, but Scorpio is a sign that even though it's a fixed sign and fixed signs don't like to change, they have to. Okay, just like Aquarius rules the future, rules evolution, rules your individuality. You're constantly growing, you're constantly changing within your individuality, you're constantly adding more to yourself, you're constantly sponging up more and more. So even if you're fixed, if you have a fixed energy, even with Leo's a fixed sign, and you best believe if there's a style that they feel like, oh, you know what, I'm really vibing this new like style, or this new cut of dress that now everybody's like wearing, or not, they'll start wearing that. Like They might be fixed, but one of the things that they will be fixed on is making sure they look good. It doesn't matter if like it's something that they've been comfortable wearing or something's new. It's like, oh, I always just want to feel good within myself, however that looks like. So right now it's very much like whatever we want to do with that Sun trine Mars, very powerful time to get stuff done. This is the time to check in on those goals and be like, okay, how have I been actually putting in the work? This is a great time to question yourself. Have I been watering my goals, my dreams? Like, what did I do? Did I just write it down? Did I just ask spirit for it? What did I do? What did I do to put in the work to see things moving in a different direction? That is the question. Okay. Changes. It's like, if you want to change, okay, what have you brought to the table? That is a question right there. The sun will be in a square with Pluto. Okay. So there is a lot shifting. This is what I mean by like that watering the earth. Okay. Because Pluto is in Capricorn and the sun is in Scorpio. So there is this, the way that the water and the earth is, it's transforming. It's like, okay, Pluto's like, okay, you want to have a foundation. You want to build a foundation for yourself. You want to build and strive for these goals. Okay, how are you putting in the work for it though? How are you making space for it? Or are you going to keep allowing stagnation to be the law of the land? That is the question. Like, that is the question. And that's kind of where we're at. There's a lot of, there's a lot of transformation that's happening, especially in areas that you might have been feeling a little bit stubborn or might have been feeling like you can't budge on. You might actually do a whole 360 on something. So be gentle with yourself on some of the decisions that you're making, especially because Mars is still in Gemini. The moon will be in a conjunction with Mercury, and then the moon will be in a conjunction with Venus, and it will also be in a trine with Mars, same as the moon. And the moon will also be in a square with Pluto. It's definitely emotionally, again, our emotions and our ego are in alignment with what we're doing. We're feeling passionate about what we're doing. We're feeling very directional about what we're doing. We're feeling like what we're doing is the correct thing that we're doing. But we're feeling a lot more of a passion to do the things that we know we're supposed to be doing. And one of the things about Scorpio is that at the end of the day, it comes down to the truth setting you free. The truth is what transforms Scorpio. The truth is what triggers their Phoenix phase, where they go through that transformation process. And so the truth of the matter of the situation is what's going to push you into action right now. And once you decide and you're like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I haven't been putting in the work. I need to do that. Okay, let's do that. Okay, let's put in the work, and then I can say something. Okay, then I can say something. It's like kind of criticizing something before you've read it. Like it's kind of like if you just like to talk shit, but you don't even know what you're talking shit about. It's like you need to know the details, or you need to know what in order to act upon. Okay. Mercury will also be in a trine with Mars. Our words are carrying a very hefty punch, and Mercury is also in a trine with Saturn. Some of the things that we're saying, especially how we're communicating with other people, is very karmic. Be very gentle with yourself. Be bold with others, I guess. Some of you will be very like, I said what I said with others. That's the energy that's coming out with that. But some of y'all are also going to be able to correct certain things or make right certain things, especially certain things that have been lingering since Libra season. So be gentle with yourself. Don't, feel like you have to overdo, but if you feel like you have to say something, okay, then say what it is that needs to be said. Because that Mercury square Pluto, it's like there are certain things that need to be said in order to trigger transformation. So our words are very powerful right now. The solar eclipse, don't forget the solar eclipse energy lasts longer than regular full new moons, regular moon transits. Okay, moon transits, they basically every 2.5 days, the moon will move to a different sign, but solar eclipse energy lasts 2 whole weeks for each eclipse. Okay, so it's a long time. The energy is very intense for both eclipses, and eclipse season is something that it's a lot can happen, a lot can shift, a lot can, you can go through a lot of emotions. You can feel that very, very energetically. You can feel stuff in your gut, your intuition also that's heightened during this time. So you want to make sure that you are, empowering yourself. That is still a really important thing to do, because our words are a source of transformation. So, you know, if something needs to be said, just say it. Be like, you know what? Blame it on the planets. I don't care. Do it. Blame it on the planets. But I'm telling you, it needs, whatever it is, it needs to be said. Mercury will be in a square with, I'm sorry, Venus will be in a square with Pluto, and Mars will be in a square with Jupiter, and Mars will also be in a square with Neptune. So it's definitely, there's definitely a little bit of a, like, a little bit of a sasong going on astrologically. There's a lot of ways in which, especially with sensual energy and with our sacral chakra, okay, this is a great time for sensual magic and spellcraft as well. It could be very, very intense. It can, you know, lead to a lot of transformation when it comes to sexual identity and just an evolution. Be mindful with, you know, sensual rituals with others, because they can feel very soul to soul transformative type. Okay, just listen. So be very mindful of that. You can also listen, Venus square Pluto can lead to like emotional obsession. It can lead to, you know, being emotionally feeling very tied to someone. If certain things, certain relationships or certain connections are not healthy, or you can tell or it's not working, don't put yourself through the trouble of like forcing it. Okay, release what needs to be released, because Venus square Pluto can create some obsessive ass relationships and some energies of like possessiveness, of like wanting to start fights just to feel something. It can be very intense. Be very mindful when it comes to your heart and doing things unnecessarily. But there's definitely an intensity. There's an intensity. Okay, this passionate. Okay, this is not light love and light energy. No, it's very passionate, deep, almost dark, broody, mysterious. So keep that in mind. Mars squaring Neptune amplifies when it comes to messages. Make sure that if you're divining on something, that you are meditating on it first. You don't want to just like divine on something and then just act right away. When it comes to divination, sometimes you have to give it a second. Like you have to sit with the message for a little bit before you feel comfortable enough in what direction you're going to head to. And I highly recommend you doing that, because Mars is in Gemini right now, and Mars doesn't like being a Gemini. So you can end up causing or reacting to something and being jumpy to something based on the knowledge you're getting. The Mars square Jupiter as well, like based on the knowledge you're getting, you could like be, you know, a little bit agitated, and then you react out of reason, and then something else happens, and then it starts some shit. I'm telling you, just be very mindful of sitting with something. If your intuition tells you something, or if the truth is revealed in some way and it's a big thing, give yourself some time to sit with it. Don't just blow up and just, okay, sit with it, process it, and then, you know, try to navigate it in the best way that you can, because if not, you're going to be feeling very like, oof, like lashing out, like very, very extreme energy. Saturn will also be in a square with Uranus, because generationally there's still a lot that we're still processing, and a lot that we're still collectively evolving into, but there's a lot of karmic stuff happening. There's been a lot of karmic stuff happening this whole year. There is a generational upgrade that we are going through, and I'm talking about for millennials, and I'm also talking about Gen Z. We're still going through a lot of collective shit, so you want to make sure that you're also like very much looking at what's happening around you, but not absorbing what you don't need to absorb. Now, when it comes to the cards, okay, so we have the Seven of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, and the Devil, which is that Capricorn energy, which is why I was telling y'all, like, listen, I'm telling you, there is that energy of watering. All of the earth energies is very, very at the forefront. It's like, okay, there's things that you want, there's things that you've been wanting, there's things that you've been calling in, there's things that yes, but what work have you been putting towards it? It's not enough just to ask for it. What have you been putting towards it? How have you been working towards it? How have you been making space? What are you going to do about it? It's a lot. It's a lot that needs to be done. This, especially with the Six of Pentacles coming in the way it is, it's like you're gonna get what you put towards. If you put half-assedness, you're gonna get half-assedness. If you don't put enough work in it, you're not really gonna see much from it. If you want something, this is the time to water it. This is the season to water it, especially before we get into Capricorn season. A lot of the things that is happening now, you're going to see things shifting during Capricorn season, and especially because socially, Capricorn season is the beginning of the year, right? Even though it's supposed to be Aries season. But I digress. So there's going to be that building up to that energy to the new year. So you need to make sure you're doing what you need to do for the remainder of the year and setting yourself up for success instead of setting yourself up for something that you're going to regret later, right? Then we have Judgment and we have the Page of Swords, okay? So ancestor wise, because you guys know the Judgment card is a card of the ancestors, tell me it's not. So when it comes to Judgment and when it comes to the Page of Swords, it's like the ancestors have been actively trying to navigate and really guidance wise help you guys navigate out of different situations that have been going on for a while now, that have not been great to like deal with, but is necessary for you to take the steps into processing, right? But the message is very clear. I'm telling you, for some of you, when you guys are divining on like, okay, let me pull some cards and see what's going on, what's my eclipse message, what's coming up for the next 2 weeks, eclipse season, all that stuff, it's like, okay, yeah, certain things need to be resolved. Certain things you need to make sure your judgment is also very good. You need to make sure you're making good decisions for yourself. You need to make sure you're listening to yourself, but you also need to make sure that you're putting in the work for the things that you want. Because if you're not, you're going to get half-assed outcomes, half-assed manifestations. How are you making room for what you want? Okay. I said what I said. Now we are also getting, mind you, the bottom of the deck for each one of those cards was fertility. So you already know we're literally baking in the oven. There's certain things that we're cooking up. It's just a matter of, okay, are we going to put in the work for them to, you know, actually come into fruition or not? We also have peace and tranquility. We have transition unknown. Some of you really want this, the hard work and success. Some of you just want to get to the end game of the hard work and success, but it's kind of like you don't know where certain things are going. Some of you just want things to be a certain way, but it's not. Certain things are very much up in the air for some of you, and it's just you haven't put in the work. You haven't put in the work to get it. You haven't put in the work. Like even like, for example, let's say one of your intentions was to be in a healthy relationship or to be in a relationship and you've had a crush on someone like all year. Okay, but you could have told them. You could have been told them. You sitting on your ass and not saying anything is not going to get you anywhere. You're just being stuck, because you can either tell the person, right? Tell the person and say, hey, this, and if they say no, okay, then you can start moving on or whatnot. And if they're like, oh yeah, me too, then it's like, oh, okay, so then we can start something. It's like, if you don't put in the work, you're going to be an unknown, transition unknown for a while, and wanting peace of mind, wanting the peace, wanting the, oh, like, when is this gonna be resolved? It's like a movie. No, it's you making it complicated. You're making it complicated, okay? Then we have control and discern. We have sexual energy, because that's coming up. I mean, it's Scorpio season, expected. We have trust in your efforts. And again, if you didn't put any effort, don't trust that you're not going to get any results. Awakening dreams and shine forth. Because at the end of the day, it's like, if you are taking the steps to push towards what you want and putting in the work towards what you want, you're going to see the changes and those things coming into fruition. But if you don't and you're doing half-ass shit, you're gonna get half-ass outcomes. Okay, anyway, that was the message for the solar eclipse. I hope that you guys have a very beautiful solar eclipse. Don't forget that this reading covers the next 2 weeks, so stay safe. I will see those who are coming to the workshop tomorrow. I'm really excited. I'm gonna be doing it. I'm gonna be just basically doing the whole live streams through my phone, because it's connected, because the electricity in the house, I'm telling you, it's Offie is back. So we're gonna do it through the phone. I did like a short test on my phone to make sure that it would be fine, and it was. So I was like, okay, it should be fine for the 2 hours tomorrow. So, you know, bear with me. I'm sorry about the technical issues. I love you guys. I hope you guys can understand. But I'm still working on a new podcast episode. And again, stay tuned for the shop update. I can't wait for you guys to see the new products and the new oils that are going to come out. Anyway, I love you guys so much. Bye.